Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. I want to give double honors to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone that taught me this truth and rule well. And I want to say Shalom to all Akim and Akwalt out there pursuing this truth diligently. Coming at you once again with another lesson. Alright, this one's titled The Importance of Having Balance. Alright, the importance of having balance. As you can see, we put together a little thumbnail for the video today. You can see it's got the scale on it. It's not, this one isn't in balance. Alright, these ones are just hanging because they don't have anything on them yet. Right? So, but as the picture and as the title of the lesson says, alright, today we're talking about the importance of having balance. Okay? And that's something you learn when you come to this truth is balance. You have to have balance. Now, balance within this truth is different than balance in the world. Alright? Because the balance out in the world, they're going to tell you, the worldly definition of balance is all fucked up. The physical definition is fine, but when people think balance, a lot of people would think they mix balance with equality. Alright? They mix up balance with equality. They think, oh, well, everything's balanced. Everything must be equal. That's not the case within the truth. Okay? Everything is balanced in a way that may not be equal. Alright? And a lot of the time it's not. Okay? There's nations above, other nations. Alright? For example, Esau is the lowest among the heathen. So that even Esau, or even among the heathen, there's not equality. Okay, and we can get that scripture to prove that. Here we go. This is Obadiah 1 and 2. Okay, and we can actually start from 1 just to prove the point. Alright, this isn't a scripture that we had to go in today, but just to prove it, that there's even, balance within the heathen nations. Says the vision of Obadiah, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, concerning Edom, we have heard a rumor from the Lord, and an ambassador is sent among the heathen. Arise ye, and let us rise up against her in battle. Behold, I have made thee small among the heathen, thou art greatly despised. Now another scripture we can grab is, we're not going to get it today, but we could talk about, the Esau being base men. We have scriptures. Not scriptures, but we have lessons based upon those scriptures. Alright, going in all in on Esau. Alright, this isn't necessarily about going in on Esau, but we just wanted to prove the point that even among other nations, alright, there's not total equality. Esau is the lowest of the low. Okay, they're the worst of the worst. That's not equality. Let's look at that word equality. Alright, and we're going to be getting into quite a few words today. Okay, equality.
Equality. Equality.
It says the state of being equal, especially in status, rights, or opportunities. And the fact of the matter is, we're not equal. All right, that's why we can't have equality. These people are fighting for equality. The Bible is directly against equality. Okay, not everyone is equal. All right, in status, rights, or opportunity. Okay, for example, Esau is the lowest of the low. Even the other heathens are better than them. Alright, and on top of the heathen, they're not equal to the Israelites. Alright, the Israelites, us, alright, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans are above all of the other people on earth. Okay? And even in now there's equality among the tribes, but in a way, alright, but there's even, order throughout that, through, the head tribe being Judah. Right? So, but all Israel's gonna get the reward. But everything can't be completely, have the same, not everybody can be the same, all right, especially when there's different nations. All right, you can't put a heathen on the same level as an Israelite, all right, especially an Edomite, okay? Especially when Esau's the lowest of the low among the heathen, how are you going to put them against the most powerful, strongest, most royal nation, all right, family, all right, the Israelites? It doesn't make sense. But these people in the world are fighting for equality. They're fighting for, here it is, Equality and Human Rights Commission. They have a whole website talking about human rights. Oh, and what's the other thing? Making women equal as men. All right, when that's been shown time and time again, that's not the case. All right, it's showed that that's not the case. Okay, that's why when you have these people, I'm trying to choose my words very carefully. These they, I don't even want to say that. These transformers, all right, and you'll know what I'm saying. I know that's what the elders and apostles use. They say transformers. These transformers, all right, that are born as something, all right, but they they transform, you know, and pull a Decepticon and transform into something that they're not. All right, in this case, you know, being of the opposite gender. Okay, so it's proved time and time with them as well. Is when, you know, one of them gets into a ring, if they go into a female boxing, all right, that woman's about to get her fucking ass rocked, man. You just completely just dominated, okay? And why is that? Because men and women aren't equal, all right? One is stronger than the other. You can't have equality, all right? One is also more nurturing, all right? Women are naturally more nurturing than men, all right? So we each have our place, all right? A balance, okay? Men might not be, you know, geared towards that sort of work, but women are, okay? Or women might not be geared towards that type of work, but men are, okay? For example, lifting heavy things, all right? Hot, long days out in the sun and heat, all right? Men are able to deal with that. You can even look. Why? I did this a while ago. I don't know if I ever put it in a lesson, but check this out. Why do women get colder than men? And we'll see if we can find the article. All right. Oh, look at this. It says compared. So equality. What is equality? The state of being equal. What is equal?
Equal.
Being the same. All right. Being the same in quality, size, degree, or value. Identical. The same. Okay. Let's see if men and women are the same. And this isn't, you know, getting on, you know, women or anything in this. We're just talking about different things. The transformers, men and women, equality, balance, all right? Because people, a lot of the time, as we said, they equate equality with balance. And equality is not balance, and balance is not equality, all right? And matter of fact, in order to have balance in this truth, you can't have equality. But that's something we're going to have to explain. So let's go and here we go. We looked it up. And this is by who lo and behold, who knows, who everybody knows who they are. It says compared to men, women have less muscle, which is a natural heat producer. They have 6 to 11% more body fat than men, which keeps their inner organs toasty, but blocks the flow of blood carrying heat to the skin and extremities. Now, I wonder if this is the one from Glamour. Now, the thing is that men generate more body heat but lose it faster. Women don't generate more body heat, but they keep it longer. Okay, they can retain more heat than men. Okay, but they don't generate more heat than men. Men generate more heat. Women, I just used the fucking word, retain. All right, men generate more heat. Women retain more heat. So a woman, once she is warm, will stay warm longer than a man. But a man can produce warmth way faster. All right. So, and we're just showing you dealing with equality. All right. Even look among animals. Are dogs and cats the same? Are they equal? No, they're not. They're completely different. All right. Look at anything. If plants, are two plants the same? No. Equality doesn't make any sense. All right. Equality does not make any sense. The state of being equal. All right. That's what equality is. The state of being equal. And being equal means identical. These things are not equal. These things are not equal. These things are not identical. A dog is not identical to a cat. A woman is not identical to a man. An Israelite is not identical to a heathen, and so on and so forth. So we wanted to touch on that and get that out of the way. And really, we don't have to touch on that much anymore because we got it. But you know, and you can go and read this about. See, women have a higher core body temperature than men. Women on birth control have even higher core body temperatures. Women have colder extremities than men. All right, women have slower metabolic rates than men. All right, and again, showing you that it's not necessarily equal. Okay, so there you go. Even two people are not equal. Okay, two people are not equal. Even among the Israelites, there's not full equality because guess what? You have two parts of Israel. All right, well, you know, three parts technically: the 2/3 and then the 1/3. All right, and the 1/3 is not equal to the 2/3. All right, the elect is not equal to the 2/3. all right, because the 2/3 are going to be destroyed, all right, and the elect's going to be safe. That's not equal. They're not the same. They're not identical, all right? So we wanted to get that out of the way and touch on that, because a lot of the time when you speak of balance, all right, and luckily they have the definition correct here, okay? So, but a lot of time when people when people think balance, we can go and look at if you just look it up, look. See, look. Exactly the same. Okay, exactly the same. But balance doesn't, see, this is equality. This is equality, right? And balance isn't always equality. Okay? Or we're trying to help, you know, try to explain it to the best of as possible. All right? And hopefully you can understand it, but balance isn't necessarily equality. Okay? So let's look it up. Here we go. Well, we already have it up. I don't know why I said let's look it up. Let's balance. Now the first one goes off. It says, well, I mean, it can be used. It says an even distribution of weight, enabling someone or something to remain upright and steady. All right, and really, the whole thing is right now, Babylon the Great and the state of the world, it is out of balance. All right, it's become a false balance. Okay, things are in the place where they shouldn't be. All right, this people that's, you know, the heathens above the well, you know, not literally. All right, but as how the world sees it, you know, the heathen, you got the Edomites that are over all nations, and that's a false balance. The Israelites are supposed to be above all nations, right? But you got that women ruling over their men. All right, you got, you know, even the balance within the animal kingdom is completely fucked up. You got animals eating meat that don't naturally eat meat, but for some reason they are eating now. All right, and everything's out of order. Everything is out of balance. All right, everything is out of balance. Now it says enabling or someone or something to remain upright and steady, and that someone or something would be society. All right, it's not able to stand upright and remain upright and steady because the balance is thrown off. All right, and throughout the Bible, it gives us the examples and the information we need to retain balance. All right, but this world doesn't retain balance because they think it's unfair. They think it's oppression. They think it's wrong. Meanwhile, they're oppressing in other aspects because really they're double-minded. All right, and what's the other word? They're hypocrites. All right, these people are hypocrites. So continuing on. In definition 2, and that's really the reason. This is the one that really brings it out. All right, the correct version says a condition in which different elements are equal or in correct proportions, and not equal, but like it says, or in correct proportions. And the condition, all right, how it should be biblically is not equality, but it's about the correct proportions. All right. And hopefully you're following along, all right?
Proportion.
All right, proportion. All right, so you can look up this, all right, dimension, size. It says a part, share, or number considered in comparative relation to a whole. All right, so it's in the right proportions, all right? The people are where they need to be, all right? Justice, all right? And we don't have any justice here, all right? What's other words? Not equality. Okay, because that's the thing that the definitions keep on trying to go off and using the equality. It's not equal, but it's about the things being in their correct proportions. All right, being how they're supposed to be. All right, because you know Israel, Israel having everything and the heathens having nothing. That's not equal. It's not equal, but guess what? That's correct, and that's the just balance. All right, that's the correct proportion it's supposed to be in. All right, they're every. And we're going to get it talking about, because even chickens have this thing, man. It's called a pecking order, okay? And like I said, even among the animal kingdom, all right, there's different things, all right? Things aren't necessarily equal, okay? And that's the thing. A lot of this thing might be, you know, too deep for some people because they don't understand the difference between equality and balance, okay? Balance isn't equality and equality isn't balance. Sometimes balance is equality, but not all the time. All right, and to be able to understand that you have to have this, you have to have the scriptural knowledge, all right, and have the Spirit dealing with you, all right, so you can understand. Because in the world, I would have thought, oh, balance is equal, because you think balance, you put, oh, this is the same thing, this is the same thing, you put it on the scale, they're equal, and that's balance. Well, not necessarily, okay, not necessarily. Okay? Keep or put something in a steady position so that it doesn't fall. Something that keeps something in balance. And Israel, for example, being ahead of all the nations, that keeps them in balance. That keeps things in order, all right, in the correct proportion, all right, because these heathens will try to go and do something or go off that they're not supposed to be doing, and there's going to be a correct balance once we're in the kingdom, all right. There's going to be a correct balance, all right, correct order, all right. Order is going to be restored, all right. If we look up what order is, here's another word. We're getting a lot of words today. Order, okay. Get Merriam-Webster. Order, okay. To bring order, regulate, right? To regulate, all right. What is regulate? To govern or direct according to rule, okay. And what would we be directing under? All right, the rule of the holy, of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai that's written within the Bible, the Holy Bible, okay. That's the rule, all right. And Israel will govern or direct according to that rule, according to the scripture, according to the law, right? But in this society, there's no order, all right, because there's no regulation, all right? There's regulation, there's Esau's regulations that are completely through, all right, but the true regulation, all right, the true order, all right, the true balance is through the scriptures, through Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, okay? But these people in the world don't understand that. Let's grab this real quick. Let's grab a scripture, all right? This is Proverbs 11:1, all right? Showing you that this is completely off, all right, how things are now, all right? And that everything has to be in balance. So Proverbs 11:1 reads, "A false balance is abomination to the Lord, but a just weight is his delight." Let's read it again. Proverbs 11:1. "A false balance is abomination to the Lord, but a just weight is his delight." Everything has to be in the correct way. Everything has to be lined up perfectly in the right way, and if one of those things move out of the way, that balance is thrown off. Here it is. You got, and we're going to grab that later, but here you have the Most High over the Son, and the Son over men, and the men over women, and then that would leave the women over the children and animals, right? And the children over animals, right? And animals over nothing, right? Maybe bugs, right? So, not that that's written. Just mind you, the scriptures say, that Yahweh is over Yahushai, and Yahushai is over men, and men are over women. All right, it doesn't mention, any of the other things in the scripture that we're grabbing, but that would be the state of things. That would be the order. All right, and if that balance gets thrown off, for example, one of the things here in Babylon the Great, the women try to jump the gun and get over the men. All right, now that balance is thrown off. That's not how it's supposed to be. Okay. And that's why, home lives and relationships and dating and, even sexual relationships as a whole have become completely, wacky, okay, because the balance is thrown out, okay? The balance is thrown out. Men are those mediators, but the women are in putting themselves in the position of men. If you've seen it now, you see the women have become very brutish and manly, and the men have become very feminine, all right? So it's backwards. Okay, and that's a false balance, and you can't run a society off of a false balance. Proverbs 11:1, "A false balance is abomination to the Lord, but a just weight is his delight." Okay, and if you look at the end of the Roman Empire, what did they have? They had a lot of false balances. All right, a lot of cross-dressing going on, a lot of things. The end of the end of the Roman Empire was just, it was. I'm not the most knowledgeable about it, but anybody can tell you that things weren't going great, all right? Everything was out of order. The balance was all thrown off. You had men dressing as women, women dressing as men, all right? And a lot of the things were going the same. Fast food and all that all the stuff, all that same stuff at the end of the Roman Empire is here now in Babylon the Great at the end of this empire, and it's gonna be taken down by Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, all right? Proverbs 11:1, once again, a false balance, Salakia, a false balance is abomination to the Lord, but a just weight is his delight. Okay, and what is abomination? All right, let's get that. We're getting a lot of definitions today. Abomination. All right, a thing that causes disgust or hatred. All right, an atrocity, disgrace. All right, obscenity. All right. So there you go. It's a crime. It's wrong. It should not be done. All right. A false balance is abomination to the Lord, but a just weight is his delight. Everything needs to be in its specific order. It doesn't get out of line. It doesn't step out of order. It falls in the line, and everything's perfect. All right, that's why everything's not good now, because everything's been thrown out of order. You know, cows behaving like dogs, and dogs behaving like chickens, and chicken behaving like humans, and humans behaving like this and that, and women over men, and men. I mean, it's completely, you know, and man thinking they're above the Lord, and that's not the case. All right, they haven't put themselves in that place, but they're sure trying to. All right, and everything's thrown out of balance, and that's why society is completely all out of whack. It's screwed up. It's fucked. People are in the worst way that they've ever been. All right, and oh, look at all these guns are causing all these shootings. These guns are doing. No, it's not. People are doing it. All right, people are the ones with the guns. All right, and you know who's behind people? You know who's controlling people? All right, the Lord. So really, the Lord's in control. All right, it's not the people or the gun, as it might seem to be, but it's the Lord that's doing that. Okay, and that's because why? Everything's out of balance. Okay, everything's out of balance. Like I've said, guns have been around forever. Why is it just now that all these mass shootings are happening? It's not because of the guns. It's because of people. All right, and it's not necessarily because of people. It's because of the Lord. The Lord's doing these things. Why? Because everything's out of order. All right, and these people are wicked. All right, and the Lord controls all things. And if you're gonna try to, we're gonna get that at the end. If you try to, think above what your thinking grade is, you're gonna bug out. All right, well, why like that guy on that comment board on Elder Manata Zakba's comment board way back saying, why couldn't the Lord just make us perfect and just make it to where we never sinned if He can control everything? All right, well, you're trying to understand the Lord's ways, all right, and trying to put yourself in His mindset, which you can't do. All right, He has a billion. There's not even an amount, a number amount for how many times more powerful the Lord's brain is than yours. Okay, you can't even begin to put yourself on the Lord's level. Okay, you just can't do it. Just don't do it, or you're gonna bug out. All right, you've been warned. So Ecclesiastes. Someone decides to run by with a loud ass fucking vehicle. Ecclesiastes, all right, 3:1 through verse 8, and they're showing you more. There's a balance to everything. There's a time for everything. There's a place for everything. There's a purpose for everything. It says this is Ecclesiastes starting with 3:1 down to verse 8. To everything there is a season. Even the seasons are in balance. But guess what? Esau started fucking around with harp devices, and guess what? Now the seasons are all out of balance. They're all out of order, right? Everything's out of order, man. If you look at all these, everything's out of order, or at least Esau is trying to make them out of order. But this is the natural way. All right. To everything there is a season, and a time to every purpose under heaven. A time to be born, a time to die, a time to plant, a time to pluck up that which is planted. A time to kill and a time to heal, a time to break down and a time to build up. A time to weep and a time to laugh, a time to mourn and a time to dance. A time to cast away stones and a time to gather stones together. A time to embrace and a time to refrain from embracing. A time to get and a time to lose. A time to keep and a time to cast away. A time to rend and a time to sow. A time to keep silence and a time to speak. A time to love and a time to hate. And a time of war and a time of peace. But Esau tried, and I'm not saying Esau is, what's the word I'm looking for? Has succeeded with throwing these things out of whack. Some things they're trying to throw out of whack, but this is the natural order. There's times and place for everything. That's order. That's balance. All right, that's order and that's balance. Look up those words again and remember that balance and order is not necessarily equality. Okay, so there's a time to born, a time to die. Esau is trying to throw that one out of whack. They're trying to live forever. Okay. A time to plant, a time to pluck up that which is planted. Esau tries to pluck things up ahead of their time. All right, because they can't wait. All right, so there you go. That shows you that everything has balance, man. Everything has balance. Here's 1 Corinthians 11:3. This is the scripture that we were mentioning. All right, and it reads, 1 Corinthians 11:3. But I would have you know that the head of every man is Hamashiach, and the head of the woman is the man, and the head of Hamashiach is Yahweh. All right, so Yahweh is over Yahweh Shai is over man is over women, right? There's an order. What is that? That's balance, all right? Not necessarily, well, that's not equality. It's not equality, but it's balance, all right? That's the correct way that things are supposed to be in. That's balance, okay? Now, you can't come in with a worldly mindset of balance and a worldly understanding of balance and expect that to apply to the scriptures. All right, the worldly definition of balance is a lot different than the scriptural, all right, truth version of balance. All right, and the truth version is the correct version. All right, the worldly version's been skewed, chopped, and messed up And people think that balance is equality. Equality is not balance, and balance is not equality all the time. Sometimes it might be, but sometimes it's not. Okay? Sometimes it might be, but sometimes it's not. So, Lord willing, you can understand that. So we're going to get this. This is from Modern Farmer, just to show you that it's not just among heathens that they're heathens. There's not just among humans, and even heathens, there's, they're out of order, but there's an order among them as well, as in Esau is the lowest of all of them. All right, showing you that there's an even order. Not that they've said it, but that the Lord had this order set, right? So we're showing you that even, among animals, the humans have order, animals have order, everything has order, everything has balance. And if one of those things is out of balance, it can throw everything off. The animals start acting out of the way, humans start acting out of the way. For example, when the animals being in balance and throwing things off. For example, when Esau went over there to Yellowstone and started, I believe it was killing off all the wolves. The wolves left, and guess what? All the nature started leaving. Check this out. Yellowstone wolves. Check this out. They had to reintroduce wolves because they fucked things up. Wolf reintroduction changes ecosystem in Yellowstone. It says how wolves change rivers. See, there's a balance to everything, man. Everything has its order. All right, because if you take the wolves out, then guess what? It throws everything out. All right, check this out. It says when the gray wolf was introduced into the greater Yellowstone ecosystem in 1995, there was only one beaver colony in the park, said Doug Smith, a wildlife biologist in charge of the Yellowstone Wolf Project. Today, the park is home to 9 beaver colonies. Now, I don't know how they originally got out there. I think it was Esau just, fucking around. Says, with the promise of more to come, as the reintroduction of wolves continues to astonish biologists with a ripple of direct and indirect consequences throughout the ecosystem. Wow, it's astonishing biologists. Who knows if you take something out of an ecosystem, it'll fuck it up. Esau doesn't understand when they're fucking with things. Oh, take this butterfly out. That butterfly is there for a purpose. Well, take this wolf out. This wolf is eating these rabbits. They're there to eat those rabbits. You take that wolf out, and guess what? All the other animals are gonna fuck off and go somewhere else. All right. It says a flourishing beaver population is just one of those consequences. Said Smith. So yes, they have a direct influence on lots of things. Okay. Now look, I guess it has to do with elk too. All right. Yeah, here you go. Here's Esau fucking with things. Let's read it. It says, what happened, said Smith, is that the presence of the wolves triggered a still unfolding cascade of effect among animals and plants. One that will take decades of research to understand. When they introduced them back, guess what? Plants started growing back. Animals started returning. Alright, bugs probably started returning. Stuff probably happened different with the lakes. Alright, and they're wondering, why did that happen? Because you threw out the fucking balance, and when you place the wolf that was supposed to be there back, it corrects that a little bit. Okay, not that we're gonna have correct balance in the world now because everything's thrown out of place. But that just shows you on a smaller scale that how fucking with one thing can throw things out of balance. Okay, so how did this avalanche of change work out for the beaver? It says to answer that, you'd have to go back to the 1930s when the wolf was killed off in Yellowstone. Even though Yellowstone elk were still preyed upon by black and grizzly bears, cougars, and to a lesser extent coyotes, the absence of the wolves took a huge amount of predatory pressure off the elk, said Smith. As a result, elk populations did very well. Perhaps too well. There you go. Now you have overpopulation issues. It says two things happened. The elk pushed the limits of Yellowstone's carrying capacity and didn't move around much in the winter, browsing heavily on yellow willow, aspen, and cottonwood plants. I bet that fucking made it to where those plants were hard to find now too. Alright, and because those plants were hard to find, I bet that had something to do with the bees. And I bet because the bees had, see? Said that was tough for the beaver who needs there you go. That was tough for the beaver who needs the willows to survive in winter. So they removed the wolf, and because the wolf wasn't there to kill all the elk started eating, overpopulating and started eating all the willow. And guess what? Because they started eating all the willow, the beaver started doing real bad because they need that willow. And because the beaver was doing bad, guess what? Something's going to happen with the lake. And because something happened with the lake, you see what happens when things are out of balance, when things are out of order? Things need to be in order, all right? And that's why, with anything, women being over men, this happened, with the wolf being removed, and all this, the world has been completely thrown out of order, and because of it, it's been thrown into chaos and just rioting and just wickedness, man. Okay? Because and look at it. Look at the state of the world. Does the state of the world look like something that's in balance? Does the world seem like there's order when there's songs like "Now I'm eating his ass"? Does that seem like order? No, that doesn't seem like fucking order at all. All right, songs like "Baby Daddy Free." All right, because I don't want no something baby inside of me. All this. Does that sound like order? No, it doesn't. It sounds like fucking chaos. It sounds like a fucked up society that's on its way out. It sounds like a society that's on its way out. And guess what? It is. It sounds like a society that's on its way out because it is a society that's on its way out. All right? Let's read on. Let's continue to see how Esau has continued to fuck up this place worse and worse and worse. It says, healthier willow strands in Yellowstone. To create counterintuitive situations, back in 1968, said Smith, when the elk population was about a third of what it is today, the willow stands along streams were in bad shape. Today, with 3 times as many elk, willow stands are robust. Why? Because the predatory pressure from the wolves keeps the elk on the move, so they don't have time to intensely browse the willow. They don't have time to fuck it all up. All right, why? Because the wolves there. Because the wolves are there, the elk are going to be different, and because the elk are different, the willows are going to be different, and because the willows are different, the beaver is going to be different. Because there you go. Let's see what else. What else? Indeed, a research project headed by the U.S. Geology Survey. Did you know if we remove something, we can fuck things up, and if we introduce it, it fixes things? Wow, that's fucking Esau. Doesn't even understand how to. It pisses me off, man. All right, it pisses me off. All right, especially with Esau they're like little kids. All right, did you know if you put something in the fire, it burns? Yeah, who knows if you took something out of its natural environment, shit around it would get fucked up. It's supposed to be there for a reason, you fucking dumb motherfuckers. God damn. It says U.S. Geological Survey in Fort Collins found that the combination of intense elk browsing on willows and simulated beaver cuttings produced shunted willow stands. Conversely, simulated beaver cutting without elk browsing produced verdant, healthy strands of willow. And we can continue on. Alright. What else? Check it out. Check it out. Look at this. Remember how we said the beaver would, because of that? So here you had, because now we're going to get into the beaver. Alright? Because you had the wolf that was removed, and the wolves would prey on the elk. And because they weren't doing that, the elk overpopulated, start eating all the willow, which was bad for the beaver, all right, because the beaver didn't have those willow. And because it was bad for the beaver, guess what? The beaver's going to die off or something's going to happen to them. And guess what the beaver does? All right, if the beaver's not doing what it's supposed to do, let's check it out. It says, as the beaver spread and built new dams and ponds, the cascade effect continued, said Smith. Beaver dams have multiple effects on stream hydrology. It says they even out the seasonal pulses of runoff, store water for recharging the water table, and provide cold, shaded water for fish. Because guess what? Because the beaver's not there, the stream's fucked up. Because the stream's fucked up, the fish are fucked up. Because the fish are fucked up, guess what? Guess what? The bears eat fish that probably fucked up the bears too. See when things are out of balance. You see how it's a cascade effect of this is fucked up now because that's fucked up, and because that's fucked up, this is fucked up, and because that's fucked up, this is fucked up, and because this fucked up, this whole thing is fucked up. Because this whole thing's fucked up, the humans are fucked up. Because the humans are fucked up, guess what? Look, see? It's a cascade effect. It's like a domino effect. And it took Esau that to realize that everything needs to be in balance. You throw that balance off, everything behind it gets completely just decimated, man. All right, look at society because of how balance is thrown off. Women are out of order. Children are out of order. Animals are out of order. All right, this is out of order. That's out of order. The nature's out of order. Everything, man. The food's out of order. The water's out of order. And everything is, because, there's pollution. Because you're polluting, it's fucking up the water. And because it's fucking up the water, people are getting cancer. And because people are getting cancer, people are dying early. And because people are dying early, you see, these people don't realize this shit, though. They don't get it. It says they provide cold, shaded water for fish, while now the robust willow stands provided habitat for songbirds. Guess what? It also happens with the birds. Look, man, it says, what we're finding is that ecosystems are incredibly complex. Wow, congratulations. Round of applause for Esau, the fucking dumbass that couldn't realize that. Anybody could have told you that. Anybody could have told you that if you remove something from where it's supposed to be, it's going to fuck things up. It's there for a reason, Esau. You're like a little kid that think they found so. Look what I found. You didn't find anything. You didn't find anything. You just realized that removing something from its natural order fucks it up. Wow. Who would have thought? Who would have thought? You really did a good one there. Alright? God damn, you fucking morons. Alright, Salakian, this gets me heated, man. It gets me heated when Esau does shit like that. And this shows you, and I'm glad we went and got that, because that shows you how important it is to have a proper balance. How important it is to have correct order. Because when that order and balance is overthrown, then what do you get? Chaos. Alright? And when you have chaos, everything's out of order, man. Everything's out of order, and it's shown you we showed you then there was order among animals. Let's show you this, all right? And this show you, I like showing this because there's a specific thing in there that shows me that basically is kind of about Jake. All right, now they use it in a different term, but it reminds me of how Jake is. All right, and that's how it's naturally supposed to be. And you're gonna be like, oh, see, they're bullies, they're bullying. Well, listen, and you'll read up. This is called The Secrets of Chicken Flock's Pecking Order. Understanding the social hierarchy of the flock is one key to raising healthy, happy chickens. So you have to have this to have happy chickens, man. And you're wondering, why is this motherfucker going on talking about chickens when we're talking about order? Because it's showing you that there's balance and order in every single thing. The other one's about a balance. This is more about order. All right, because order is balance, balance is order. And you have to have order to have balance. All right, and you have to have balance to have order. All right, so let's continue on. Let's read it. So it says, but they do have their own ways of maintaining social order. So chickens have their own social statuses, you know, who's on top and who's on the bottom. All right, just as Jake should be on top and the heathens should be on the bottom. Check this out. It says, which seem to have served their needs well enough for over a millennia. So it works out for them. It works out for them. It's a bit authoritarian by our standards, but the pecking order, in which each bird has a rank and the top-down hierarchy of the flock, is a way in which chickens govern themselves. The pecking order is literally determined by pecking. The bigger and stronger and more aggressive chickens bully their way to the top of the flock by pecking others into submission with their pointy beaks. First, they strut about, fluff their feathers, and squawk. But if that doesn't get the point across, they peck. It can get violent. Sometimes blood is drawn. Occasionally, the opponent is killed. All right, and this is the state. Now you're gonna say, "Oh, well, what do you mean, Jake?" Because Jake is supposed to be at the top. All right, and in order to that, what does Jake have to do? They have to keep those other nations in line. All right, sometimes the other nations got to get pecked. All right, and sometimes sometimes Israel has to display their dominance. All right, not always by violence, but saying, "Hey, look, stay in your fucking place." All right. That's not how it goes. And when they get out of line, they have to be corrected. And that's how it goes. That's how it naturally should be. Okay? But they try to, they bully their way to the top. No, we didn't bully our way to the top. We were already in the top. And these people tried to, brute force their way in. And we have to stand strong and dominant and say, hey, no, stay in your place. And right now, we're not in that state, of course. We're at the bottom, unfortunately. We're supposed to be at the top, showing you that order isn't in the way it is. But when we're in the kingdom, guess what? We're going to display that dominance, that power. Esau gets out of line, guess what? They're going to get pecked, okay? Except being a beak, it's going to be a rod, all right, or a fist, all right? So, and hey, or a whip. Who knows what we're going to be bashing them with? But guess what? They're going to be kept in line, all right? They're going to be kept in line, all right? What's the purpose of the pecking order? Purpose of the pecking order. Pecking order rank determines the order in which chickens are allowed to access food, water, and dust bathing areas. It determines who gets the most comfortable nesting boxes and the best spots on the roosting bar. Check this out. Check this out, right? The good news is that at least among a flock of chickens born and raised together, the pecking order is established early on and the birds live in relative harmony, with only minor skirmishes now and then to reinforce who is in charge. And that's going to show you when we're ruling over the nation, guess what? It's going to be harmony, because guess what? It's not going to be so good for the Edomites, but they have a lot of pay that they have to do. They have a lot of payment to pay back because they treated us so shittily, all right? But the heathens they're going to have to repay us for 1,000 years as well, right? We're going to be over rule of them, all right? They're going to be in captivity for 1,000 years, and so is Esau. The difference is after the 1,000 years, Esau is going to be fucking done away with, all right? And they'll never return as a nation again. They're going to be, poof, erased, all right? Gone. The heathen nations, they're going to be around. All right, and why not in captivity, we are still going to be over rule of them, and they're going to be, under us, and we'll be telling them what to do. So not necessarily doing hard labor like, the first 1,000 years. All right, but guess what? They're going to prefer us in rule over Esau in rule. Shows you. Harmony. All right, so But for that first 1,000 years, we're going to be having to show them and correct them, right? We don't really have to. We don't have to continue to read on about this whole pecking order. All right, we're going to get the scriptures. I don't know why Obadiah 1 was up. Yes, so we were getting that, Salakia. So I remember getting that. I don't know why the full chapter was up. Let's get Romans 12 and 2. Now, we're getting Romans 12 and 2 because the one thing you got to realize is that when you're dealing with, talking about balance and false balance and, you can't be conformed to this world, all right? And that's why we're grabbing Romans 12 and 2, because if you're conformed to this world and you're in that worldly mindset, you're not going to understand balance. You're not going to understand order. You're going to think order and balance is equality, and it's not. So Romans 12 and 2, it says, "And be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind." Get that shit out of your mind, all right? You need to renew your mind by the renewing of your mind, right? By the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of the Most High. What is renewing? What does it mean to renew? To renew.
Renew.
To resume an activity after an interruption. What was the interruption? Our minds being fucked up in this Babylonian mindset. Going back to the spiritual mindset that we were naturally in. Renewing our mind. Bringing it back to where it was. Alright? It says, "And be not conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind." Getting all that weird shit out of your brain, pushing it out, all that Babylonian weirdo shit, pushing it out, all that sodomite shit, pushing it out, all equality, pushing that out, alright, and renewing your mind and bringing it back in the state that it once was. Alright, why? That you may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of the Most High. There you go. You can't have that mindset, man. Alright, you can't, and because when you do that, I think that, it is equality, and I think that, and this thinks that, I think that, this thing is thinking about. None of that. This is Proverbs 3 and 5 through 3 and 8. "Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding." Well, I think that equality is... Fuck off with that. Well, I think that justice is... Nuh-uh. Well, I think that order is... Nope. Nope. Well, that's what I think. Well, that's how I feel. That's what I gathered from it. Nope. Trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding. The Lord gave us a book with showing you about what the order of things, the correct nature of things. All right. Lord, trust in the Lord. Don't lean in your understanding. All right, trust in the Lord. He's going to guide you. Verse 6, it says that. "And all thy ways, Salakia, in all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths." Not you, the Lord, right? "Be not wise in thine own eyes. Fear the Lord and depart from evil. It shall be health to thy navel and marrow to thy bones." But guess what? If you don't do that, guess what? These worldly doctrines and your own understanding, that's going to be poison to your navel, all right? It's going to be poison, all right? It's going to get in there and poison and corrupt and get in the marrow and just dry you up and just rot you, all right? It's going to rot you from the inside out, man, all right? You got to get rid of all that. You got to put, renew that mind, man. Lean not into your own understanding, all right? Or you're going to think that the way society is now is that's correct. That is completely out of order, man. That's completely out of order. Well, women deserve to be on top because they did that. That is completely out of order, okay? If you see how the state, even the men, all right, it's not just women, because men are out of order as hell now, leaving their families, and that's all through the curses, right? Leaving their families, leaving their children, going out and doing this, and the women are over here doing this. Look at your average relationship now. Not the men that are the brothers and sisters within this truth, because we tend to have better relationships, through the grace of Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai being in this truth, because we understand the correct way of things. Okay, but if you look at worldly relationships, look at the state of them, man. There's constant, and everyone's going to have arguing and bickering because we're not perfect, even among this truth. But look at the amount of arguing and bickering that goes upon and takes place in a worldly relationship. All right, the amount of, just treachery and non-loyalty, all right, in your average worldly relationship, okay? Just look at it. Look at the state of people. You know, the men are all fucking crazy and effeminate, and the women are bitching the men. And because of that, everything's out of order, and you're not having great relationships anymore. You're not having good relationships anymore. And then you have kids, and guess what? Those kids bitch the parents, both of them. The kids are over both the parents. Fuck you, Dad. Fuck you, Mom. All right, you're gonna buy me this Hot Wheel, or I'm gonna say that you beat me or something. You know, and it's see the order of things. It's all out, man. It's pathetic, really. It's pathetic and it's disgraceful. It's pathetic and it's disgraceful. All right, so this is Psalms 147 and 5. Shines the Lord knows everything, and the Lord imparted wisdom to you. All right, if you've woken up to this truth. All right, and it's written within the Bible, but only some people can get it. All right, if you have that knowledge and that understanding, and the Lord has this knowledge that He's given to us, and the Lord has the ultimate knowledge, man. All right, He knows everything. He's the Lord. All right, Psalms 147 and 5. And bear with me just a moment. Let me grab a drink while I'm at it. Select it. But the Lord has the ultimate knowledge, man. This is Psalms 147 and 5. It says, "Great is our Lord, and of great power. His understanding is infinite." Now let's stop. What is infinite? You got to get a lot of words today, man. A lot of words, and they're good because you need, just understanding these words can bring you a lot of edification. Okay, because a lot of these Christians, when they're up there teaching their sermons or wherever they're at in their churches and on these pedestals, the simple fact is a lot of Christians don't understand simple words, man. Simple words, such as the word again. Should we graft it in again? They don't understand again. They don't understand words like infinite. All right, they don't understand words like equality. They don't understand words like what's the word we were talking about? Order. All right, justice. They don't understand these words. All right, balance. They don't understand these things, man. Okay, so how are you going to understand the scriptures if you don't understand basic, vocabulary? All right, if you don't have a basic grasp on it. All right, how are you going to understand the words if you don't know? How are you going to understand the word if you don't understand the words? All right, that's almost a title for a lesson right there. How are you going to understand the word if you don't understand the words? Okay, if it's saying, oh, the Lord's wisdom, His understanding is infinite, what is that? That's going to be meaningless to you unless you know what infinite means. You understand? If it says, oh, the Lord, the Lord is great. How is that? That's going to be meaningless to you. The Lord's what? If you don't know what great means, then that's going to be meaningless. The Lord's what? I don't know what that is. I don't know what that is. Great. What is great? You're not going to understand that great is very good, excellent. All right, and I'm sure it goes into you look it up. Look it up. Great, and of an extent, amount, or intensity considered above the normal or average. All right, substantial, significant, special. All right, the Lord is huge. All right, he's very powerful, man. An important or distinguished person. He's great. All right, excellent. All right, the Lord is excellent. All right, the Lord is great. The Lord is powerful, all right? But if you don't know those words, it's going to be useless to you. It's going to be meaningless to you. Because here you are, you don't know what great means. You don't know what infinite means, so how are you going to understand the scripture? Okay? Infinite. Being without limits of any kind. Endless. All right? The Lord's understanding is endless. It is infinite. It has no limit. All right? Unlike our brains, our little puny human brains, they have a limit. And you could push it to the limit, and then you start forgetting stuff. Well, I don't remember. We can only hold so much information. That's why we forget things when we're a child. We don't remember all of our childhood. All right, and we just can't withhold all that information, man. We just can't. All right. So you really want to push all of that junk and replace it with spiritual knowledge. All right, because we have a lot of knowledge on some other things. But if we lose some of that knowledge to gain space. All right, for delete some of those files so we move some new files in from the truth. We'll do it, man. We'll do it. Psalms 147 and 5. Great is our Lord and of great power. His understanding is infinite. So, and He's given us this, part, not His whole knowledge because it's infinite. We can't have that same level, but He's given us some of His knowledge, all right, and instructed us through the Bible. Okay, but Unless you have that knowledge, you're not gonna understand anything. All right, not even the so-called simple things, man. Okay, unless you have that knowledge. Okay, so this is Isaiah 55:8 and 55:9. For those people that are saying, well, I know what equality is. I know what equality is. Equality is, I know what balance is. I know what power. I know what blah, 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 blah. And that mindset. Well, guess what? You don't know. All right, you don't know better than the Lord. This is Isaiah 55:8 through 9. And this is where we're going to close out. It says, for my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, saith the Lord. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. So in the Lord's ways and the way that he moves, all right, and the way he says this is in order, all right, well, guess what? If you say that's out of order, guess what? The Lord knows better than you. So you're saying it's out of order. The Lord's saying it's order. Who are we going to listen to? The Lord. He actually knows what's going on. You don't. The Lord actually knows what's going on. You don't. All right? So let's open this back up. All right? Because we're going to close out. So that's been the lesson, man. All right? That's been the importance of having balance. And Lord willing, it was edifying. Lord willing, we didn't go too deep with it. And you could still understand it. A lot of looking up definitions, a lot of words, because you got to understand that balance isn't always equality. All right? And that's something that the world tries to teach you is, having balance is perfect equality. It's perfect balance. It's the same weight. Both people are on the same level. That's not the state, man. That's not the state of it's the state of things, all right? The importance of having balance, man. Because if you don't have that balance, as we read, even with the Yellowstone, and that shows you even on the scale of animals, all right, and this is a way greater thing than animals, all right? If you don't have balance, everything's going to be thrown out of whack, all right? And it's going to ruin everything. And right now, Babylon is so destroyed and messed up because that lack of balance. All right, you have heathens in rule when they shouldn't be. You have women in rule when they shouldn't be. All right, you have Israel on the bottom when they shouldn't be. They should be on the top. All right, you have food all out of order. They're doing food the wrong way. They're everything's out of order, man. Everything's out of balance, and that shows you how important it is to have balance. Because when one thing's out, everything, there's a domino effect, and everything behind it, man, just flows out of order. Okay, so that's the importance of having balance. Lord willing, this lesson was edifying. Once again, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. I want to give double honors to elders and apostles at Great Millstone that taught me this truth and rule well. I want to say shalom to you brothers and sisters out there. Keep enduring, keep the faith. We're almost out of here. Until the next one, Lord willing, shalom.